Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. I'm Brian Winnikins at the NAFB convention in Kansas City. And thank you to our broadcast sponsors, including Annabis Silo of Durand, the Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation. Also, Matt Carls, our Mycogen Seeds representative in Northwest Wisconsin. And Ashley Gaussman, our BASF representative in Northwest Wisconsin. And this morning, we're talking with Paula Halabicki. She's a technical marketing manager. And Ashley has talked with us as well about Revysol, something new coming from BASF. And Paula was actually at our field day this past summer up at the plot just on Highway 85, just south of Eau Claire. And Paula, well, thank you for joining us today. Well, Ashley and I have talked a little bit about it on air, and that's the new fungicide Revysol. And what are some of the things that producers are going to need to do or think about before they actually decide, I need to use this on my field?
Absolutely. So I think with fungicides, it sometimes can be a difficult decision because you have to control diseases before you even see diseases, right? Because they're developing at a really small level in your field. And so I think that it's really important to consider fungicide applications in your program because we never know what Mother Nature is going to throw our way. And so if we're looking at something like Revysol fungicide, we know that it has very, very good activity, strong activity on those diseases that matter most in both corn and soybean. So tar spot, for example, is something that's really top of mind for some of our Wisconsin growers. And we see phenomenal activity on tar spot with our new active ingredient Revysol in the brand Veltima fungicide for corn.
And when Ashley and I were on this last month, she had mentioned that around the Mondovi area, there had been a few instances of tar spot. Nothing major, but just a few instances. So for corn growers now here in western Wisconsin, do they have to really be on alert for that? Is this something that spreads from field to field pretty quickly after harvest, and it's just going to show up next year? Or how's that going to work?
So tar spot is very similar to most of our residue-borne diseases. So once you have it, it's there, and that inoculum source is there for that disease to continue to spread. And we have seen that it has spread sort of from where it started in Indiana and Illinois areas into Wisconsin, Michigan, and it's moving further west into Iowa and even some corners of Minnesota this season. So the thing with these diseases is that they need the right conditions to develop. And so last year was quite bad in many areas, and this year the disease pressure really came in later, again because of those environmental conditions that it needs to develop. So I think that it's definitely important for those growers to make sure that they're out scouting and looking for it and being aware if they have the issue or if they see the issue in surrounding areas as well.
So tar spot's a little bit like white mold. Once you have it in the field, you're kind of stuck with it on the soybean side?
Similar to that. So, tar spot, gray leaf spot, northern corn leaf blight in corn, for example, they're all residue-borne diseases. And so if you have them and you have short rotations, then that residue still contains that inoculum source and it will spread up the canopy throughout the season when you have the right conditions for that disease to develop. So similar to white mold or to, frog eye leaf spot in soybean.
Is there a difference between no-till and those that are tilling with that residue? Does that maybe help mitigate it if I have done no-till, but maybe I had tar spots, so maybe I should till this all in, this residue in, so I can get it out, or does that make it worse?
So the pathologists in the U.S. are still learning a lot about this disease because it is fairly new. The first incidence was in 2015, I believe, and so we do think that tillage can help to some degree, but you still have some of that inoculum source there. So I would say, any of the things that you can help rotation, trying to expand your rotation outside of corn. If you're tilling, that can help. We do see some differences in terms of hybrid resistance, and then the fungicide performance is something that they're evaluating this season as well, and something that we saw really good performance with our Veltima fungicide in corn as well as Headland Amp this year in some of those trials.
Again, we are talking with Paula Halabicki, a technical marketing manager with BASF. Finally, Paula, this is something that's hard for producers, I think, because it's a timing thing to apply these fungicides, but it's something that, we really aren't seeing anything, so do I really need to do it? But we may have an issue, we just don't know it yet. Is that the hard thing with some of these diseases?
It can be, but the thing with our BASF plant health portfolio, including Veltima and Headline Amp, is that we're not only providing disease control, right, but we're also helping to mitigate environmental stresses. And so the plant health benefits, can be beneficial to farmers whether they get disease pressure or not. And so, we don't know what Mother Nature is going to throw our way, and so I think it's really important to try and plan for that fungicide application. And normally the right time to do that is around that VT to R1 stage for corn, when that plant is switching into reproductive mode.
Some great advice again, Paula. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Paula Halabicki, she's the technical marketing manager with BASF. We are at the NAFB convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnikins on Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN.